Let's get through some earnings then. Five-Star reported a decent set of numbers. The net interest income was up 38% on a year-on-year basis. The profitability has jumped up by 28%, and the asset quality too has been stable, with NIMs being maintained around that 18.5% mark. Let's welcome on board the management to understand what the outlook is. Mr. Lakshmipathy Deenadayalan, the chairman and managing director, joins us on the show now. Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for making time and speaking with us. Where do you see your NIMs headed in this environment when the cost of borrowing has come down to around 9%? What's the outlook in going forward for cost of funds as well as NIMs?
Yeah, thank you for having me in ET now. So directly getting into the cost of fund, I think last time also I said that Five-Star is in sweetly position. The cost of funds are coming down. Our incremental cost of funds, if you compare last 9 months in last financial year versus first 9 months of this financial year, it has come down from 8.5% to 8.7%, even though RBI has increased the repo to 225 bps. So that shows the strength of Five-Star when we talk about our liability. More importantly, the cost of funds on our book has dropped down from 10.5% to 10.37%. So there is no increase in cost of fund from a book perspective. So there is no need to go to the market and increase our lending rates to our customers. So that ensures the NIMs that what we have given in this quarter looks stable. That's point number one. But point number two, in a steady state, the NIMs what we are guiding to the market is it will be around 14 to 15%. Currently, it is little bulge because our cost of funds are coming down and we have not transferred our cost of funds to the borrowers. We will be doing it in next few quarters. So at a steady state, the NIMs will be around 14 to 15%.
14 to 15% is more a realistic rate, but clearly your return profile is quite strong. Return on asset around 8%. The street is expecting that loan book is expected to grow at a pace of around 30%. But tell me about the asset profile as well, because a large part of your borrowing actually comes from MSME and sort of the unorganized sector. How's the asset quality looking with respect to MSME loans?
So let me speak about our borrowers, then we'll go to the asset quality. As I said in the last show, Five-Star has created a niche market for itself, where we lend to the customers whom formal lenders were not lending for years together. So we lend to single shop owners, small shop owners, we lend to self-employed, we also lend to cash salary customers. These customers are there abundant in our country, whose first port of credit is from money lender. So we go and disturb the money lending market and bring these customers to the formal lenders like Five-Star. That is how Five-Star differs from a typical vehicle finance or a gold loan finance or microfinance. So that's our business model. Taking these customers into consideration, when they move from informal to formal lenders like Five-Star, their cost of funds are significantly getting reduced. So that is why you see our yields are better, relatively our return on assets is also better. But the return on assets, what you mentioned at 8% now, will not be sustained. As I said earlier also, we have to play the leverage game. As the leverage kicks in for Five-Star, this return on assets will be stabilized at 6 to 6.5%. So this is where the guidance from spreads, NIMs and ROA that we are giving to the market.
Right, so this is Vinny joining in the conversation as well. What I want to talk about is in terms of, that could turn out to be a concern or a challenge is in case of the reopposition and liquidation of the collateral in case of any defaults. How would you work around such a situation then?
Yeah, we don't have any concern on liquidating the property. We have been doing it for the last 20 years very successfully. So we lend to our customers where we assess the cash flow. That is point number one. Even after assessing the cash flow, we don't lend unsecured. It's being lent against backed on the solid security or the property where the applicant family members live in. That's point number two. Having said so, these customers are very sentimentally attached to the properties. It is not that Five-Star uses all kind of legal actions to remove the customers from the property, and we go for a direct selling. It's not happening that way for 5-star, because once a customer turns into a 90 plus, that's where the rigorousness starts kicks in 5-star. We explain to the customer that instead of we liquidating the property, it is better that you can liquidate the property. That goes well in the ears of the customers over a period of time. Hence, he brings the property to liquidation rather than we doing it. So we don't find any challenge. That is why we have one of the best asset qualities in the market. Even in the current December month, our 90 plus were at 1.16%, which is flat comparing to last quarter.
Okay, Mr. Lakshmipathy, we'll let you go on that note. Thank you so much for joining us today and talking to us about how the outlook is looking like. So quite robust with respect to loan growth and not too worried or perturbed about the asset quality at the moment.